So much for being stealthy. The man clutching his arm turns around and is met with Alora's gun touching his temple, ready to shoot. The woman turns around and is shocked when she sees Terzo with his gun pointing at her. I quickly put my gun at the back of the man's head, looming over Andria. I cock my gun in warning. Shoot him and I'll blow your fucking brain out. I snarl, pressing my gun against his head harder. He said there wasn't any more people in the house. He snarls. We were certain there wasn't anyone else. Blondie says, get down. I snarl at the man. He doesn't move. I take the knife from my waistband and press it against his back. I said, get down. I repeat. He raises his hands and slowly gets down on his knees. Blondie and the injured man join him. I take the gun off the man and Terzo takes it. They start tying up the attackers. I run over to Andria, who's struggling to keep his eyes open. I untie him and he looks up at me. His grey eyes are camouflaged with his purple, bruised eyes. He has cuts on his wrists and his lip is bleeding. His perfect jaw has scratches all over it. What did they do to him? Andria? Andria, it's me, I say, stroking his hair. Padza, he mumbles. Yes, it's me, Padza, I say, putting my forehead onto his. He weakly lifts his arms and cups my face in his hands. My ragazza matta are the last things Andria says before he blacks out. Chapter 40. My ragazza matta are the last things Andria says before he blacks out. No, I mumble. I hoist his head onto my lap and move the hair out of his bloodied face. We need to take him to the hospital, I say. I'll take him, Amira says, as Terzo removes her bindings. She has a bruise on her lip and her hijab is crooked. You need to rest as well, I say. Don't worry about me, she replies. She walks over to me and her and Alora pick Andria up, wrapping his arms around their necks. Who's going to deal with them? I ask. We should wait until Vittoria arrives, Zoya says. Terzo's arm is drooped over her shoulder and she's rubbing her bruised wrists. Xuan, tell them. The blonde woman screams. We all look at Xuan and he raises his hands up. I don't know who she is, he says. He's lying, she exclaims. This girl is insane, he says nervously. Zoya, Terzo and I look at each other. Where's the blonde one? Lorenzo? Xuan asks, changing the subject. My eyes narrow and I glare at him. In the living room with Mimi, I say. I look down at the gun in my hand. He's a traitor. Blondie screams. Kill him. I don't know what she's talking about. He puts his hands up. You little shit. Zoya snarls. He will betray you all just like he has done to us. She screams. Terzo, shut her up. I need to think, I snap. What would Andria do in this situation? He'd probably kill him right here, right now. I believe you, I say. Are you insane? Terzo exclaims. At least one of you has come to your senses. He laughs. I walk over to him and he smiles at me. I turn around and see Terzo and Zoya's shocked faces. I turn back around to Xuan and punch him in the face. He cups his bleeding nose and looks at me in shock. I hit him on the side of his head with the back of my gun. He drops to the floor, unconscious. Tie him up, I say as Terzo comes up next to me. Badass, I hear him mumble. Terzo grabs some rope and ties him next to the other prisoners. Where are they? Vittoria yells, bursting through the door. We step out of the way and she walks to the prisoners. What happened? She asks Zoya. The light bulbs flicker and the light comes back on. I had some guards fix the electrical box. The wires were cut. They cut off the electricity and attacked us. Zoya says. Apparently they know Xuan. Where's everyone else? She asks. The medical room, Terzo replies. You seem to have this covered. I need to see Andria, I say. Vittoria turns to me and gives me a sympathetic smile. I run out of the room and down a couple corridors. I go down a flight of stairs and reach the medical room. I burst through the door and see Andria laying in a bed with an IV drip coming out of him. A doctor with fluffy blonde hair and round glasses stands over his bed. I see Alora talking to a mirror in the bed beside Andria's. You guys have doctors laying around? I ask her. They live on this side of the house? She replies. Vittoria ensures they don't run their mouths about our activities. I approach Andria's bed and look at the doctor's name tag. Will he pull a chair to the side of Andria's bed and hold onto his hand? He's bandaged up and has plasters all over him. His bruises are still purple and look hurt. Mum, you must let him rest, Will says. I'm not leaving, I reply calmly, not looking up at him. Only family members or significant others can stay here. I look up at him. Are you any of those? He asks. I hesitate, his friend. You need to leave, Mum, he says, turning around. I sigh and go to get up, but Andria's hand tightens around mine. I look down at our intertwined hands in shock. I'm staying, and if you have a problem, you can take it up with Vittoria. I snap. I sit back down and caress Andria's hand with my thumb. Will shakes his head and moves on to examine a mirror. I fell for my phone and realized I left it in my bedroom. My head hurts from the lack of sleep and my eyes droop. I try and keep myself from nodding off. I fold my arm underneath my chin and rest it on the side of the bed. I look at Andria. He looks so peaceful when he's asleep. My eyesight starts to blur and I rub my eyes. Maybe I'll have a nap for an hour at least. I lay down on the side of the bed and doze off. What's going to happen to them now? A deep voice says. It sounds familiar. Andria. I sit up and rub my eyes. Andria is sitting up and talking. He looks over at me and smiles softly. How was your nap, Patsa? He asks, stroking my hair. It was good. How are you? I smile up at him. Better now you're awake, he says softly. They've all been taken to headquarters, including Xuan, Lorenzo says. I look around and see that Amira's bed is closer to Andria's, and everyone is sitting around them. There's also another bed, and Zoya is on there sleeping. Mimi and Alessandro are sitting together. Their hands are close together but not touching. What happened to Xuan? Andria asks. One of the attackers recognized him. Terzo says, It's funny how this happens after he's joined our Mafia. Alessandro says, Xuan's the new guy, right? I hear Mimi mumble to Alessandro. Yeah, he's the one that got recruited. He replies, leaning into her so she can hear him. I smile softly while looking at them. They look so cute. That's asshole, Andria snarls. His hand tenses underneath mine and I rub my thumb to calm him. Your girlfriend here went crazy on him, Terzo laughs. Andria looks at me with a proud smile. Damn right she did, he says, kissing my forehead. I turn my face away from him, not letting him see the smile on my face. Chapter 41. It's been 2 days since the attack, and Andria was finally discharged from the medical room yesterday. Vittoria wants us to head over the training headquarters. Lorenzo says. Apparently, she hasn't gotten very far interrogating the attackers, and she wants Andria to speak to Xuan, Zoya adds. We'll go there as soon as we leave school, Andria says as we walk over to my locker. He leans against it and crosses his arms. Lorenzo stands next to him. I open it up and take out my calculus book. My phone starts ringing and I see that my mum is calling me. I sigh and answer her call. Dilia, she says. Hi, Mum, I reply. Darling, I'm in California. I'm going to be staying here for a couple days before I have to go to Chicago, she explains. Great, I reply plainly. I was thinking that Antonio and I could stay at your house, she says. But I start. Great, we're making our way over now. Come meet us. I roll my eyes. Mum, I'm in school right now. I say through gritted teeth. Well then come as soon as you're done, she says. She ends the call before I could reply. I sigh and rub my face. Zoya looks at me sympathetically. What's up, Patsa? Andria asks. My mum is coming to live at my house for a couple days before she goes to Chicago with her boyfriend and she wants to meet me, I reply, closing my locker slightly more aggressively than I meant to. That doesn't sound too bad, Lorenzo says. Your mum is Audrey Caesar, the famous actress, right? Yep, I reply. She's a real pain in the ass. When does she want to meet you? Andria asks. After school, meaning I can't come with you guys. I say. I'll come with you, Andria says. Vittoria needs you, I reply, smiling at him. You seem like you'd enjoy the company, he replies. We can head over after, and I'll meet your mom. I don't really think you'd want to meet her, so don't worry about it, Patsa, he says. The bell rings, telling us to go to 5th period. Come on, lovebirds, let's get to class. Zoya laughs. On the way to maths class, we bump into Terzo and Alora, who are going to app physics. We pass Aiden, Kai, Carlos, and Alara, who wave at me. I give them a small smile and wave back. Andria glares at Aiden. As I'm walking through the corridor, I realize it looks like I have bodyguards. People move out of our way until we reach calculus. I guess hanging out with the Giovannis has its privileges. So, are we driving straight there? Andria asks. Yeah, get ready to meet my mum, I reply. We get into Andria's car and he drives me to my house. I already see a black Tesla parked outside. We get out of the car and walk to the door. I insert my key and open the door. I hear noise coming from the living room. Hey Mum, I say. How did you guys get in? Dilia. So, Dilia, she exclaims. She runs over and hugs me tightly. I awkwardly pat her on the back. I brought you this house. Of course I have a copy of the key, she says. She many have brought me this house, but does she pay the bills? Antonio comes out of the living room and shakes my hand. My mom looks over to Andria and just stares at him. And who are you? She asks. I'm Dilia's boyfriend. He replies, pulling me closer to him by my waist. My mum bursts out laughing. Dilia has a boyfriend? She laughs. That can't be true. It is true, Andria says, clenching his jaw. Then how come we'd never heard of this so-called boyfriend before? Antonio asks. Because it's none of your fucking business. I snap. No le hables así. Mum yells. Translation. Don't talk to him like that. ¿Por qué no? No es como si fuera mi padre. I yell back. Translation. Why not? It's not like he's my dad. Andrea looks from my mum to me and then to Antonio. His phone starts ringing, but he ignores it. Vittoria is probably calling him. Alguien tiene que enseñar modales a esta chica. Antonio snaps. Translation. Someone needs to teach this girl manners. Eres tan ingrata. Mum screams. She raises her hand and slaps me across my face. I stand there stunned, my cheek stinging. Translation. You are so ungrateful. She goes to hit me again, but Andrea grabs her arm before she could touch me. Tienes que aprender a respetar a tu hija? He snarls. Wow, he can speak Spanish too. Translation. You need to learn to respect your daughter. Get your hands off her. Antonio snaps. Stay out of this. Andrea snarls at him. I don't give a shit if Dilia is your daughter. Touch her again and I'll fucking kill you. Mum tugs her arm away from Andrea and glares at him. I try my best with you, Mum, I say shakily. Nothing I do pleases you. She pays for your hotel. She helps you while you're drunk, even if you're in another country. Andrea says, what more do you want? I ask. My eyes start watering, but I hold back my tears. I don't think I've felt pain worse than your mother not being pleased with you or not wanting you. Let's go, Dilia, Andrea says. We turn around, walk out of the house, and return to the car. Andrea turns to face me once we get into the car. I look at him and smile softly. He pulls me into him, and I just break down. I start crying, and he kisses my head. Why can't she just be happy with me? I ask. Dilia, there's nothing wrong with you, he replies. Your mum is the problem. I try with her, I really do, I say, wiping my nose. I know you do, he says. You don't need to change yourself to make her happy. He cups my face in his hands and smiles at me. I wipe my eyes, and Andrea pecks my lips lightly. Chapter 42. We drive through a dark tunnel, and 2 huge back doors open, leading us into a garage. The training headquarters is really hidden. We park the car, a bodyguard opens Andrea's door for him, and another one opens my door and helps me out. They lead us through a huge hall filled with adults and teenagers training. We spot Jasmine and Mateo, and they walk over to us. Jasmine has her long hair tied up in a ponytail and a black cast on her arm. What happened? I ask. I beat her in a fight, Mateo smirks. Don't lie, Andria says. Mateo feigns being hurt by what he said. One of the weights fell on me, Jasmine replies. Oh shit, Andrea says. Andrea Vittoria is waiting for you, Alora says, peering her head through the door. We turn around to go, but I feel a tap on my back. I turn around and see Jasmine. Can I talk to you? She asks. Sure, I reply. Andrea turns around to me. Go on, I'll catch up. I signal to the bodyguards. He nods and walks off with Alora. Mateo, can you give us some privacy? I ask. He frowns. Get moving, asshole. Jasmine glares at him. He puts his hands up and winks at her. He turns around and walks away. He is literally a mini Andrea. What did you want to talk about? I ask. I'm sorry if I came off as arrogant or rude when we first met, she says, looking down. It's fine, I reply. I was going through a lot of things. I had just ran away from my abusive foster family and I didn't think I could trust you guys, especially since you all had guns. She explains sheepishly. We all have our bad days. Like today, I wasn't in the right mindset before coming here, but I'm happy now, I say. Vittoria has been very nice to me. She fiddles with her shirt. You have nothing to worry about and nothing to fear, I say, making her look up at me. We're not going to hurt you. She smiles at me. Thanks, Dilia, she says, hugging me. She lets go of me and I look at one of the bodyguards. Can you guys take me to Andria? I ask. Who are you to him? One of them asks. He has half of his blonde hair shaved and filled with tattoos. He saw me walk in with him. I frown. Who are you to him? He repeats, ignoring me. 2 more bodyguards walk over to me and go to grab my arms. His girlfriend. Motherfucker. I snap. They stop in their tracks. Sorry for the inconvenience, it's a security measure, the guy says. I'm Jake. I glare at him and he clears his throat. Follow me, he says quickly. We walk out of the combat training hall and past another one, specializing in knives. We walk up a couple stairs and finally reach a huge meeting room. I walk in and the long rectangle table is at the side covered in weapons of all kinds. There are 4 seats in the middle of the room. Xuan and the blondie are occupying 2 of them. The man I shot is in the other, and the man who attacked Andria. Amira, wearing a grey turtleneck, black leather trousers and white turban stands behind Xuan Zoya, is in an all-grey tracksuit with her red braids in a ponytail. Alessandro leans against the table filled with weapons, and Lorenzo and Andria stand next to Vittoria. Allura is leaning against the wall, one leg up, with her arms crossed, and is quietly arguing with Terzo. We need to figure out who sent them, Vittoria says. Do you think they're part of the Ravens? Alessandro asks. I ignore Vittoria's lingering gaze and walk over to Andria. I told you I don't know who the fuck these people are? Xuan screams. Shut him up. Andria snarls. Shut up. Amira hits him with the back of her gun. You look pissed, Andria whispers to me. Just a minor inconvenience with Jake the bodyguard over there, I say, signaling to the door. Do I need to get rid of it? He asks. No, I handled it pretty well, I reply smugly. We warned him about the consequences of betraying us, Terzo says, snapping us out of our conversation. Death. Allura snarls. She pushes herself off the wall and grabs a gun from the table. She walks over to Xuan and cocks it threateningly. Yes, kill him. He's a disgrace to the Ravens and a stupid excuse for a Mafia man. Blondie screams. The 2 other men stay silent, heads bent. I look at Xuan and can see the genuine fear in his eyes. It almost makes me feel sorry for him. He has nothing to back himself up with, all the evidence is against him. He left his own Mafia for Andria's, and then suddenly, they get attacked by people who know him. Allura places the gun to Xuan's head and looks at Vittoria waiting for her orders to shoot. I don't feel like this is right, I whisper. He's a traitor to both us and the Ravens. Andria replies. We haven't heard his argument. They could be lying for all we know, I explain. It's not our place to question Vittoria, he says. It's not my place to question her, but you're the heir, I say. Andria sighs and looks down. Andria, you should know me by now. I don't like hurting innocent people or seeing him get hurt. I add, he tried to kill me once. Andria snarls, but he didn't. Just put that aside for 1 second, we're talking about a man's life here, I say. Andria sighs and looks down at the ground. I scoff and walk away towards Allura. Dilia, don't. His hand grabs my arm but misses as I walk away. Allura slowly cocks the gun and I walk towards her. She looks over to Vittoria, who nods her head. Allura pulls the trigger as I step in front of her, and a gunshot echoes throughout the room. Chapter 43. Allura pulls the trigger as I step in front of her, and the gunshot echoes throughout the room. Someone slams into me from the side and I fall onto the floor. Are you crazy? Allura screams, dropping the gun. I look up and see Andria on top of me. Fuck, I love your impulsiveness. But for the love of good, stop trying to get yourself killed. He mutters as he gets up. He extends his hand and helps me up. I look at Xuan and see that he's still alive but staring at me in shock. Why would you walk in front of me? Allura says, running to me. I look at Andria and see that the bullet grazed the top of his shirt. It shattered a window behind Xuan. You guys haven't let him explain, I reply. Innocent until proven guilty, right? I shrug, straighten out my shirt. Vittoria walks over and she's glaring at me. She grabs my arm. It's not your job to interfere with matters that don't involve you. She spits. Get your hands off her, Andria snarls. At least let him explain. There would be an innocent man's blood in your hands. I snarl, snatching my arm off her. She glares at me, but I don't back down. I'm not scared of Andria. Why would I be scared of her? She turns to Andria. Keep your little bitch on a leash. She snarls. Watch your tongue. He snarls. She walks to the door and turns to the bodyguards. Put all the prisoners in their cells, except for Xuan, she commands. They nod and walk towards us while she leaves the room. What do we do now? Zoya asks as the blondie and 2 men are dragged out of the room. We trust Dilia, Lorenzo says. Terzo and Alessandro walk towards us until we all stand before Xuan. Me in the middle and Andria to my right. You're insane, Amira says, laughing. What do you want to do now, Patza? Andria asks. I step towards Xuan and take off his gag. You have a death wish, he says, looking up at me. I shrug and step back. I want to hear what you have to say, I explain. I know who those people are, Xuan says. Next thing you say, better show you're innocent, Alessandro says. They work for my parents, but I had no idea this would happen, he quickly explains. I have nothing to do with this. Then why is Blondie saying you'll betray us the same way you betrayed them? Terzo asks. Of course they're going to try get me killed after I change Mafias, he says. Believe me, I wouldn't have come to this Mafia if I wanted to attack it. I could easily do that from outside. Don't kid yourself, Alora laughs. Xuan smirks at her. But I mean it, his smirks drops. I have no idea that they planned this, and I have no idea what they have planned in the future. What do you think? I ask, turning round to face everyone. Sounds legit, Terzo says. He's right. There's no need to get into a Mafia when you can attack it perfectly fine from the outside. Alessandro says, remember, this wouldn't be the first time he tried to get close to us and then kill us. Andria adds, signaling to Alora. How can we trust him? Amira asks. Vittoria does? Lorenzo replies sheepishly. I agree with Lorenzo. Zoya adds. Alora, what about you? Terzo asks. If he messes up once, the barrel of my gun will be on his forehead again, and this time, no one will stop me. She warns. Andria slips his hand into mine and I turn to him. We're all waiting for you, he says. I turn towards Xuan. Am I making the right decision? I take a deep breath to calm myself. Prove yourself to us, I say. I untie Xuan and cut the rope binding his hands together. He stands up and stretches. That was really uncomfortable, he says. Alora starts to walk out and Zoya quickly follows after her. What's up with Cupcake? He asks. Lorenzo glares at him. Who wants drinks? Alessandro asks, ignoring Xuan. Oh, I'll have some, I say. I'll come with, Andria says. We walk out the meeting room. Alessandro leads us down a corridor, and we walk into a huge room that looks like a restaurant, similar to Bellissime. We sit down, and Lorenzo, Terzo, Amira, and Xuan join us. It's like our own private restaurant, Terzo says. Amira sits next to me and gives me a warm smile. A waiter soon comes over and takes our orders. I look at Amira and Lorenzo, who don't get anything. Are you not hungry? I ask her. No, I'm just fasting, she says. Oh, but Ramadan isn't until April, right? Xuan asks. Yeah, but when a woman has her period, she can't fast since she's basically unclean. Still, we have to make it up another time. Amira explains. I'm doing it now since the days are shorter. That's really cool, I reply. I really admire Amira. She's so pretty and modest. It seems like she really loves her religion. What about you, Lorenzo? Terzo asks. Why aren't you eating? I don't want Amira to feel lonely, so I'm fasting with her, he says with a smile. Or, that's so cute, I exclaim. I told him he doesn't have to, but won't listen to me, Amira laughs. Our food comes and the waiter places my nachos and Coke before me. I see that the guys just got some beers. I push my plate forward. Help yourselves, I say. Andria shakes his head smiling and takes a nacho. Terzo pulls the plate closer to him and starts helping himself. I turn to Amira. I love your hijab material, I say. It's jersey, she replies. Feel? I place my hand on the bun of her turban. The material underneath is so soft. So soft, I say. I'm definitely taking you hijab shopping with me soon, she smiles. I continue eating the nachos the Terzo left, and I drink my Coke. A middle-aged man with security clothes walks over to our table. Sorry to interrupt you, Andria, he says nervously, but we have an emergency. What is it? Andria asks. The FBI have entered our perimeter and we need to evacuate immediately, he says. Everyone immediately stands up from their seats. Amira pulls out a gun from her trouser leg. Lorenzo takes some knives out of his sleeve. Andria throws a gun at me, and I catch it. Evacuate the trainees and take them to the trucks, he says calmly. Make sure everyone is out of the building and take them to the other base. We start walking out of the restaurant. Make sure you're not followed, Alessandro says. Yes, sir. The man salutes and runs off, speaking into his walkie-talkie. Andria turns to me. Stay behind me at all times, he says. Of course, I say. We're gonna kick some ass. Terzo laughs. At that moment, the loudest alarm I have heard bursts through all the speakers and fills the whole building with noise. Chapter 44. At that moment, the loudest alarm I have heard bursts through all the speakers and fills the whole building with noise. Split up. We'll meet up at the other base, Alessandro yells. Lorenzo grabs Amira's hand and runs down a corridor with her. You have a gun, you use it, Andria says, grabbing my hand. I'm not letting you out of my sight. We run down a corridor and see so much trainees being escorted out. There's no sight of Matteo and Jasmine. We need to get to the garage. Andria says. We'll get there, I say. We run down a set of stairs and I see about 8 FBI agents and they start shooting at us. I cock my gun and we start shooting at them. 4 drop dead and Andrea and I continue running down a flight of stairs. We bump into Vittoria, who has blood on her face. Andrea lets go, she says. I go to run with them, but she stops me. You go to the car and stay there, she commands. I don't need you putting anyone at risk. She's staying with me, Andrea snarls. She will go to the car, escorted by bodyguards, Vittoria snaps. I look at the bodyguards and see that Jake is there. Andrea and her square up to each other. She glares at him and he doesn't move. Go to the car, Dilia, he says, not looking at me. I'll be fine, Andrea, I say. He turns to me and presses his lips onto mine and kisses me. I kiss him back softly and it feels like the alarm sound fades out until he pulls away. He presses his forehead to mine and I see that it pains him to let me go. I said, go back to the car, he mumbles. I'll be safe, I say. He pecks my lips quickly and turns to the bodyguards. She dies, you die. He snarls. Yes, sir, Jake replies. I quickly walk away, followed by 4 bodyguards. 2 on my right and 2 on my left. We run down the stairs and down more corridors. We're greeted by more FBI agents. They start shooting at us and the bodyguards show them no remorse. I don't even have to lift my gun before only dead bodies are in front of me. We continue running, passing a room, and I make eye contact with an FBI agent, Detective Stevens. Shit. His face drops when he sees me and he signals to his colleagues. I continue running until I finally reach the huge garage. Stay here, ma'am, Jake says. I get into Andrea's Range Rover and see that the keys are still in. I get into the driver's seat and tap my thumbs against the wheel. The walkie-talkie on Jake's belt turns on. We've headed out through the back door, start driving everyone out, Vittoria's voice says. She said they were coming to the garage. Why would she change her mind and not tell me? Vehicles start moving and driving out the garage. Should I move or wait? Fuck this. I turn on the car and the doors of the garage open and Detective Stevens is standing there with his gun raised with 5 more people. I start driving out of the garage and see Stevens shooting at me. I duck, afraid the glass will break on me, but thank God it's bulletproof. I see his face in the rearview mirror and I drive off. Now I need to find Andria and everyone else. I start driving through the tunnel and all the vehicles turn right. That must be the way to the new headquarters. So if I go left, that will take me to the back of the building. I continue driving when I hear sirens behind me. I look into the mirror and see 3 police cars following me. I speed up and drive round a corner, seeing Andria, Vittoria, Zoya and Matteo running. I beep the car's horn, catching their attention, and they turn to me. I roll down the window and drive up to them. The police sirens are faint behind me. Get in, assholes, I snap. Their heads turn to me and they look at me in relief. I open the door so Andria can drive and I hear the sirens getting closer. He looks at me and smiles. I pull him in by the collar of his shirt. Our faces are mere inches apart, and those grey eyes I love dart down to my lips. Don't you dare ever tell me to stay in the car, I snap. I push him, run around the car, and get into the passenger seat. Step on it, Andria, Matteo says. Andria speeds up the car and drives away as soon as we see that the police have gotten closer to us. Detective Stevens was here, I explain. How do you know who he is? Vittoria asks. He questioned me since he was suspicious that I was hanging out with Andria, I say. Did he see you? He asks. I nod my head and he hits the wheel. Shit, he mutters. He continues driving faster until we finally lose the trail of police. We start driving past a secluded area with only forests. What are we going to do now? He knows. I know you. I ask. Deny. Vittoria says. You said only Stevens saw you, so you deny it. He has no proof after all, Zoya adds. We need to get rid of your phone, Vittoria says. Let me see it. Andria stretches out one of his hands, leaving the other on the steering wheel. I pass him my phone and he barely glances at it before he hits it aggressively against the dashboard and then throws it out of the window. My phone, I exclaim. They could probably track you, he explains. I'll get you a new one in a couple days. The path gets more narrow as Andria drives through the forest. I see a distant, huge building becoming more clearer. The backup base is 3 times bigger than the old one. The gates open up for us, and we drive down a tunnel, straight into the basement. Zoya, Dilia, Andria says, "Wait here, I'm going to get everyone else, and then we're going home." Chapter 45. I walk past a group of people sitting at a table in the library. I rub my eyes. Last night was tiring after we got home. We all went straight to bed, and I woke up with Andria beside me. I still need to ask him what he was doing in my room. I have a free period now, so I'm looking around in the library. I walk through one of the aisles and look for a book for my history homework. A history of politics, I mutter as I walk to the back aisle. I scan the shelves and see it's on the top shelf. I stretch my arm out to reach it and my fingers barely graze the book. My crop top raises and exposes my side. I go onto my tiptoes and I can't reach it. I feel someone tickle my sides and I squeal and turn around to them. Andria is smirking at me with his arms crossed. "Let me help you," he says. He reaches up and brings down the book for me. He keeps his left hand on the shelf on top of me, caging me in. I take the book out of his other hand. "I could have done that myself," I say. Clearly, he rolls his eyes. His grey eyes dart down to my lips and his right hand snakes around my waist. I can feel his hand on my bare back. "Why were you in my room?" I ask. "I couldn't sleep and wanted to see if you were awake. Turns out I sleep better when I'm next to you," he smirks. "Maybe that's because I have control over you," I smirk, looking up at him. At this point, I'm just messing around with him. But thank God no one can see us since we're at the back of the library. "I think I have more control over you," he says. His hand trails up my spine. My breath hitches and I try to cover it up. "Really?" I ask innocently. My hand goes to his belt and I pull him in closer to me, not looking away from his gorgeous eyes. He leans down and his lips brush mine. "Dilia, there you are," a voice says. Andria quickly gets off me and looks at the other bookshelves. I straighten my shirt and look at who called me. Aiden. "Hey, Aiden," I smile. Andria looks his way and his jaw clenches. "I'll see you later, Patzer," Andria says. He walks past Aiden and barges into him. "I hope I wasn't interrupting something," he says. "What's up?" I ask, trying not to sound mad. "Carlos has some questions about the history homework," he explains. "Oh, let me check out this book and we'll go to him," I say. I walk to the librarian's desk and she checks out the book for me. Aiden and I walk into the canteen to our usual spot. Terzo waves me over to his table where Zoya, Alora, Lorenzo and Andria are sitting. "Sorry," I mouth as I sit down next to Kai. "Dilia, we haven't seen you in ages. Have you forgotten about us already?" Kai laughs, putting an arm around my shoulders. "Be careful, her bodyguard might see you, Kai," Aiden says. "He's not my bodyguard," I say. I move away from Kai slightly, making him move his arm. "Guys, I've just been preoccupied," I laugh. I take the history book out and place it before Carlos. "This should have all the information for the grids we need to fill in," I explain. "Thanks, Dilia," he says, opening the book. "So what's happening with you and Andria?" Alara asks. "Nothing really," I reply. "We're just good friends. Looked like something when I found you in the library," Aiden smirks. Carlos looks up from his book in shock and pushes up his glasses. "What happened to Diana?" I ask, changing the subject. "Over there," Carlos says. I look over at her and see her sitting on Blake's lap. She's moved on to the football captain. I roll my eyes. "Speaking about football, Carlos's game is next week," Kai says. "You coming?" "I'll try," I reply. I look at Lorenzo's table and see that Andria isn't there. Suddenly, I'm pulled up from my seat and Andria smirks at me. He presses his lips onto mine and kisses me passionately. His hands travel up my waist and I wrap my arms around his neck and start playing with his chain. I return the kiss and his hand traces my spine. Terzo whistles loudly and people start clapping. Andria pulls away, leaving us both breathless. "I have one thing to say," Andria says, catching the attention of everyone in the canteen. Hands off and eyes down. He gives me a peck on the cheek before letting me sit back down. I'm still flustered that he did that in front of everyone. That definitely looked like nothing. Carlos tries not to laugh. "Well, maybe there's something going on," I say quickly, putting my hair behind my ear. "Oh, really? We didn't notice?" Kai laughs. "I figured it out ages ago." Alara looks unfazed. "When she came into the canteen with hickeys and Andria following her, she had hickeys," Aiden exclaims. "God, boys really are stupid," she says, exasperated. "You know you love me," he smirks, putting his arm around her. "Congrats, Dilia." Carlos smiles at me. "Thanks," I reply. I look around and see everyone talking. I think will be the topic of conversation for weeks. Diana glares at me from Blake's lap and I smirk at her. She can be mad all she wants. I couldn't care less. I look over at Zoya and Alora and see them smiling at me. Alora sticks her thumbs up and Zoya laughs. I look up and see Andria staring at me. Stop staring, I mouth. I'm enjoying the view, he mouths back, winking. Chapter 46. I walk to the student car park with Terzo, Zoya, Alora, Lorenzo, and Andria. Terzo gets into the passenger seat, and Andria glares at him. Terzo, get out of Dilia's seat, he says, putting his keys in. It's fine. I'll sit back here, I say. It's a bit of a tight fit since there's 4 of us and only 3 seats. But it's fine. I want to sit here today, Terzo says, crossing his arms. I will kick you out of this goddamn car right now and leave you here. Andria threatens. Okay, Mr. Big Tough Guy, Terzo says in a grouchy voice. He gets out of the passenger seat, laughing, and I take his place. Andria starts the car and drives us home. He puts his warm hand on my thigh, and his metal rings press into my skin. I turn on the radio, and Anacondas by Nicki Minaj comes on. We all start singing along except Andria, who looks like he's regretting his life choices. Boy toy named Troy used to live in Detroit. Terzo yells along with the song, shaking Andria's seat. Big dop dealer money, he was getting some coins. Zoya sings. Was in shootouts with the law, but he live in the palace. Alora and Lorenzo sing along. Bouciander, Alexander McQueen, he was keeping me stylish. I sing along, looking at Andria. He has a straight face as Terzo keeps shaking his chair and singing along with Nikki. Oh, calm down, Zoya laughs. Sorry, Queen Nikki just does something to me, he says, wiping a fake tear from his eye. Terzo, shake my chair again and I'll throw you out the car, Andria says calmly as he parks at a gas station. Is it okay if I can get some snacks? I ask as Andria gets out of his seat. Sure, I'll come in with you, he replies. Lorenzo, fill up the car. Lorenzo gets out the car and starts putting the petrol in the car. We walk into the gas station and I go straight to the snack aisle. I pick up a packet of Skittles and Andria stands next to me but passes me a basket. I'm only getting one thing, I say to him. I'm paying, put everything you want in this, he says. And I mean everything. Andria, I can pay for my own snacks, I say, going to walk around him. He puts a hand on my waist, stopping me. I know you can, but while you're with me, you do not touch your money, he says. He shoves the basket into my hands and signals to all the snacks. I place the packet of Reese's chocolate next to the Skittles in the basket. I put down some Pringles and some Sour Patch Kids. I also get a bottle of Dr. Pepper. I turn to Andria and smile. This is all, I say. We go to the cashier, a tall, slim, brunette woman with bright blue eyes. Her eyes never leave Andria, but he doesn't even give her a second glance, which makes me smile. While we wait for her to scan out items, Andria snakes his arm around my waist and pulls me closer to him. She passes me the bag, and Andria pays for my things. He didn't look at her once. We leave the store and go to the car. Andria quickly pays for the gas and we drive back home. Andria's POV, Mimi, Alessandro and Dilia are in the living room watching Tangled. I want to sit with Dilia and let her cuddle me, but I leave her too. I walk into the living room and Dilia's face lights up when she sees me. She goes to stand up. Mimi, can I talk to you? I ask. Dilia sits back down and puts her attention to the screen. Sure, she gets up and Alessandro watches her until she leaves. We walk into the kitchen. What flowers does Dilia like? I ask. Oh, you're really straight up, she says. She hesitates for a second. Sunflowers. Sunflowers. Sunflowers? Sunflowers. I ask, making sure. Yes, she loves them. I remember when we snuck out of school and went to a field full of them. She was so happy. Mimi replies. And what would her ideal date be? I ask. A romantic picnic and watching the sunset. She replies. Why? No reason, I say. You can go now. Oh my God, she exclaims. You're going to ask her out? Shut up, I snap. It's a surprise. You are totally in love with her, she says. I try to hide my smile, but fail miserably. If you tell her I'll kill you, I say. I'm her best friend, you won't kill me. She laughs. Mimi leaves the kitchen, and I look at Alora, who's giving me the biggest smile over her computer. Shut up, I mutter. Andria, do you want the rest of my Skittles? Dilia asks, walking into the kitchen. Why? I ask. Is there something wrong with them? No, I only like the red ones, she replies. She gives me a smile and hands me the pack. I love her smile. I don't think she's realized that whenever she gives me a genuine smile, her eyes close a little and she has a dimple. I take the pack and hand it to Alora. We're not going to school tomorrow, I say. Why? Dilia asks, "Does Vittoria need us?" "No, I need you," I reply, getting a bottle of water out of the fridge. Tezo, Lorenzo, Zoya and I are still going in. Alora says, "Why not us?" She asks. "It's a surprise." I wink. I leave the kitchen, leaving her stunned, and make my way to my room. I dial a number on my phone. Jake the bodyguard answers. "I need a big bouquet of flowers to be at my house by tomorrow morning," I say. "And fill me up a jar with just red Skittles." "Only red Skittles?" Jake asks. "Yes," I reply before ending the call. Tomorrow will be an amazing day. Chapter 47. I yawn and stretch. I slept in since I don't have to go to school today. I check the time, 12,004 PMI, get out of my silk bed sheets, and go into the bathroom to freshen up. I decide to wear a white tank top and some sweatpants. I put my hair into a loose ponytail after brushing it. I get out of my room and make my way downstairs. I walk past a maid and we give each other a little smile. When I enter the kitchen, I'm shocked to see Andria putting 2 glasses of orange juice on the table. On the table are 2 omelettes, and next to them are a stack of blueberry pancakes. "I didn't want to wake you," Andria says. I look up and see him staring at me. I give him a smile. "What's the occasion?" I ask. "I just wanted to make you breakfast." He gives me a cheeky grin as he pulls out my chair. I sit down and he gives me a napkin to lay on my lap. The sun shines on my back through the huge glass door leading to the patio and pool. Andrea sits in front of me and we start eating our breakfast. The flavors burst all over my tongue. He's put tomatoes in the omelette and it tastes amazing. Hot, rich, kind, tall, and he can cook. "This is so good," I say through a mouthful. "Thank you," he replies. "You look shocked." "I just wasn't expecting all this," I explain. I take a sip of orange juice and move on to the pancakes. "Are these?" I start. "Blueberry pancakes, your mum always made them for you," Andrea finishes. I dig in and Andrea gets up. "I have something for you," he says before disappearing out of the door. He comes back holding a jar. It's filled with red Skittles. "You said you only like the red ones, so I got you this," he explains sheepishly. I get out of my seat and walk over to him. This is the cutest thing ever. I take the jar from him and place it on the table. "Thank you." I go on my tiptoes and wrap my arms around his neck to hug him. There's more. He grabs my hand and leads me to the patio. There are 2 huge bouquets of sunflowers sitting on the sun chairs. "Sunflowers," I gasp. "Your favorite," he replies. "How did you know?" I ask. "A little birdie told me," he shrugs. I turn to him and hug him. Andrea picks me up and twirls me around. I wrap my legs around his waist and look down at him. His grey eyes glisten in the sun. "You can't tell me there's no special occasion," I say. "I'm not saying anything," he smirks. "Come on." I lightly hit the side of his head. Andrea starts walking, carrying me with him. "It's a surprise, so leave it like that," he replies. Before I can say anything, I'm thrown backwards. Before I could touch the ground, I grabbed Andrea's shirt and pulled him down with me. We both hit the pool water, and I'm submerged before Andrea's hands wrap around my waist and pull me to the surface. I wrap my arms around his neck and his hands don't leave my waist. "You really have a habit of throwing me into pools," I laugh. "I need to teach you to swim," he replies. I rest my forehead on his and we stay floating, intertwined in each other's arms. Andrea helps me get to the side of the pool and we get out. My tank top is soaked, see-through, and my purple bra is exposed. "Eyes up here," I say as I walk into the house again and Andrea follows me. "Go get dressed, we're going out," he says. I nod and walk back to my room. I dry off and put on a white off-the-shoulder dress, and after I blow dry my hair, I decide to leave it out. I walk downstairs again and see that Andrea is changed too. We leave the house and get into his car. He starts the engine and drives off. We finally stop driving and park the car. I front to the forest. We get out of the car and I walk over to Andrea. "I'm not going in there," I say. "Just trust me," he sighs, holding out his hand. "If I die, I'll haunt you." So I take his hand. "I'd enjoy every second of it," he replies, smiling. He leads me into the forest. "I might regret this." "Just wait. This is going to be the start of a true crime documentary. We have to walk deeper in the forest before we reach a clearing. An open field with sunflowers growing in some places. We walk a little further, and there's a picnic blanket with all kinds of fruit and a gift bag." "Surprise," Andrea says. "Wow," I say breathlessly. He helps me sit down, and I sit next to him. I take off my gold sandals. I cross my legs. Andrea hands me the gift bag and smiles in anticipation. I open it up, and there's a small black box with a red ribbon around it. Andria takes the box from me and opens it up. On a cushion sits a simple silver ring with a small butterfly on it. Dilia, you're an amazing, unforgettable girl who I never want to lose. This is a promise that I will marry you one day, and I hope to make you a happy woman. But for now, will you be my girlfriend? He asks. I gasp softly in shock. Yes, I say breathlessly. He takes my left hand and slides the ring on my marriage finger. He extends his hand, and I see a thicker silver ring with a butterfly cut out. They fit together, he explains. We put our rings together, and they fit together perfectly. I hold Andria's face and kiss him deeply and passionately. He returns it and slides his hands around my waist. You're all I could ever ask for. I mumble against him. Chapter 48. Come here, try this, Andria says. I shuffle closer to him, and he feeds me a pink cake pop. He puts his hand under my chin, just in case something falls. He wipes some sprinkles from the side of my mouth. I look around and realize that we've been here for a while. The sun is starting to set. I grab a bunch of grapes and stand up, straightening my dress. Andria gets on his knees and looks up at me. Open wide, I laugh. I throw a grape at him, and he catches it in his mouth. I throw more, and he catches all of them. My turn, he says, picking up more grapes. He stands up, and I open my mouth wide, expecting to feel a grape drop in. Andria throws a handful of grapes at my face. He laughs when he sees the shocked expression on my face. You're gonna pay for that, I say. Really? He tilts his head to the side. I take some icing from the cake I was eating and put it on his perfectly shaped nose. Before Andria can react, I run off, making him chase me. I run down a little hill and see a huge lake at the bottom of it. Andria tackles me from behind, and I fall on my stomach with him on top of me. With all my strength, I roll us around so that I'm on top of him. Andria laughs and grabs onto my hands. I look further down the hill by the river and see something move. It moves so quickly that I could have sworn I imagined it. But then I see it again, but this time much more clearer. A man, dressed in all black, tops carrying a huge gun. The more I stare, the more people appear from behind trees and bushes. All armed and dressed the same. Partner, Andria says. Andria, people are watching us, I whisper. I feel his body tense underneath me. How many of them are there? He asks. About 20, I reply. I get off Andria and we stand up. I barely have time to put my sandals on before we're being shot at. We run back to the picnic we set up. Andria opens up the basket and takes out 2 handguns. He passes one to me and looks at my shocked face. You're dating the heir to the most dangerous mafia in the world, he says casually. Be prepared for anything. We can't catch a damn break, I mutter. We both cock our guns and see the people walking up the hill. You still have a knife strapped to your thigh? He asks. I nod in response and notice a blonde woman wearing a black mask. The same woman who broke into the mansion. She's leading them. How did she escape Pretoria? Andria doesn't even have to think before he's firing at them. Gunshots echo throughout the empty clearing, and I realize I'm uselessly standing still. I start firing at the blonde woman, and she dodges effortlessly. She's clearly very trained. Dilia, do you have your phone on you? Andria yells. Yeah, I do, I reply. Why? Run, and I'll call you when it's safe, he says. I'm not leaving you, I reply. He runs over to me, and I look up at him. I'm not asking you to leave me, he says. I'm telling you, and I told you never to tell me to do something again. I say, poking his chest with the barrel of my gun. He sighs and pinches the bridge of his nose. Dilia, please, he says. He sounds so serious and desperate. I look at him and take a deep breath. Fine, I reply. I'll find you, he says, even if it means I must rip the world apart, brick by brick. I hug him tightly, breathing in his cologne. He lets go off me, and I run down the opposite end of the hill. At the bottom, I can see a forest. Trying to find my way back to the car will be pointless, and someone might follow me. So I continue running, and I hear loud gunshots and yelling behind me. I focus on my breath and run into the forest. I hear faint footsteps behind me, and I turn around. Someone shoots at me, and it hits the tree beside me. I see it, the blonde woman chasing me. Shit. I continue running and shooting behind me. My mind keeps going to Andria. I pray that he's okay. I run far enough to turn around, and there's some distance between me and the woman. I breathe in deeply and try to remember the shooting lessons with Andria. I cock my gun and squint my eyes. The blonde woman is in sight. I aim at her head and shoot. I miss. I shoot again and hit her shoulder. She screeches in pain and rips off her mask. She beautiful, but in a completely horrific way. Her face scares me, but also mesmerizes me. I stumble backwards. She has one of the biggest scars I've ever seen across her mouth. Her face looks like it's melting off, but her eyes are the most gorgeous green I've ever seen. Are you scared, princess? She says mockingly. She rips off a piece of her shirt and wraps it around her arm. Your face, I stutter. I try to put as much space between me and this woman. Acid attack, she replies. No thanks to your boyfriend. She starts pacing towards me and I start running. I don't look back until I feel a piercing pain behind my knee. Chapter 49. I fall on my chest and my phone drops out of my pocket. I reach for it, but Blondie shoots it. That's the second phone I've lost. No one to protect you now, she says. I look at the back of my knee and see blood gushing out. Shot me. I try and crawl away from her, but she grabs me by my hair and drags me towards a tree. My dress rides up my thighs, exposing my knife. I take it out of the holster and cut the bit of my hair that she's holding. Thank God my hair is silky and this knife can cut skin just by touching it, otherwise it would have taken many tries. My head falls to the ground. I hit it on a stone. I feel blood on the side of my head. Blondie walks up to me and grabs my face. My vision starts blurring because of the amount of blood I'm releasing. I cut her across her lower abdomen and she falls in pain. I throw my knife away and cock my gun. I shoot her left leg. Black spots start clouding my vision. All I can hear are her muffled screams. If I'm gonna die in this forest, so will she. I shake my head and try to stable my shaking hands. I feel the back of my dress drenched in sweat. I take a deep breath and shoot her right leg. I still hear her screams as I try to crawl to the nearest tree. I need to prop my head up quickly. I lean against the tree and wipe my sweaty hands on my thighs. I need to stop the bleeding. I try and bend my knee, but this action only causes me to scream in pain. I look around for my knife and find it. I cut some of my dress and wrap it around my knee. I can't remove the bullet since I can't see the hole. I take deep breaths but can't stop the tears on my face. My entire leg feels numb and I'm slowly losing touch with my senses. I realize my hair barely scrapes my jaw and has leaves stuck. My vision slowly fades in and out until everything goes black. Dilia, Dilia, wake up. I hear someone say. My eyelids feel heavy as I try to open them up. Come on, please, they say. I slowly force my eyes open and my vision is still blurred. Andria, I say. My voice is croaky. It's me, Lorenzo, the voice says. My arms feel heavy as I lift them and rub my eyes. My vision gets better and I see Lorenzo in front of me. Oh my God, I gasp. I hug him tightly. He hugs me back. Everything's gonna be okay, he says, rubbing my back. I cry into his shoulder and we sit in silence. Where is the blonde woman? I ask. Zoya's tying her up. So, Lorenzo replies. Let's get you up. I can't walk, I explain. Blondie shot the back of my knee. Oh shit, he mutters. Zoya, get over here, he yells. Not a moment later, Zoya is by my side. You look like a mess, she says. I have, in fact, just fought for my life. I awkwardly laugh. You did a damn good job, Lorenzo replies. They each grab one of my arms and put it over their shoulders. They hoist me up, and I balance on my left leg. How are we supposed to get her to Alessandro? Zoya asks. Lorenzo takes out his phone and calls a number. Alessandro, you and Alora need to come to the forest, he says. We're near the outer bank to the lake. He ends the call and put his phone in his back pocket. They should be here soon, he says. Zoya and Lorenzo put me down again. She walks over to Blondie and grabs a fistful of her hair. She drags her over to us. Blondie tries to squirm out of her grip. You destroyed her legs, Zoya says. She was one of the people that broke into the mansion. I mutter, excuse me? Lorenzo says. She broke into the house. I repeat louder. Last time I saw her, Vittoria had her captive. There's no damn way she could have escaped alone. Zoya says. Either there's a rat in the Mafia, Lorenzo starts, or Vittoria needs to have a fucking good reason for letting her go. I finish. We see Alessandro and Alora emerge from behind some trees. Alora immediately runs to me and gives me a big hug. How did you guys know where Andria and I were? I ask. Lorenzo came as backup, surrounding the area, Zoya explains. But Andria called you and you didn't answer, so he sent us. Lorenzo says. Do you know where he is now? I ask. They all look at each other. No one answers my question. My heart drops. He's not hurt or dead? I ask, is he? No, of course not. So, Alora replies, he's been in worse situations than this. Alessandro adds, let's just focus on getting you home for now. Zoya says, Alessandro and Lorenzo help me up. Sorry about this. Lorenzo says, he puts his hand on my back and the other under my thigh. Alessandro does the same and they pick me up. Zoya drags Blondie along with us and Alora helps her. I see a clearing and 2 black cars parked. They opens the boot of one and throws Blondie inside of it. Lorenzo and Alessandro put me down and Alora gets in the driver's seat. Zoya gets in the other car and they drive off. My mind goes to Andria. I'm praying that he's all right. Chapter 50. This is a lot of damage to your soft tissue. Will says after coming back from the x-ray room, meaning you'll need to stay in bed for a while. How long? I ask. A maximum of 3 weeks. He replies, but we can let you use a wheelchair. I sigh in relief. Nothing too serious. You'll need to be heavily dosed on anesthetic for the surgery. He adds, please explain why my best friend is in a hospital bed again. Mimi yells, bursting through the doors. A scared Alessandro and Xuan follow behind her. She's been really cranky lately, Alessandro explains. Pregnancy hormones. Xuan quickly adds, I am not hormonal. Mimi yells, can you all calm down and remember that this is a hospital? Will snaps, Dilia, are you okay? She asks, coming to the side of my bed. Yeah, I'm fine, just being prepped for surgery, I say. You owe me a proper explanation when you wake up, she says. Did Alessandro not say anything? I ask, looking behind her at him. He just said you got shot, that's it, she replies. Oh, that's true. Well, that's true, Alessandro says. Why though? She says. You never used to get into these kind of situations, not until this Andria showed up at your house. I flinch when she says his name. It's been 7 hours since the incident, and we still don't know if he's alright. It's a long story, I sigh. But you already know they're in the Mafia. Just connect the dots. It shouldn't be that hard. Xuan rolls his eyes. Careful. Alessandro glares at him. All of you out, Will says. Dilia needs to be prepped, and your drama is stressing me out. He shoves them all out of the room, and 2 other nurses come out with a tray full of utensils and an IV drip. Will comes over and injects the anesthetic into me, and I start feeling drowsy. I turn over onto my stomach so they can get a good view of the bullet wedged behind my knee. I finally open my eyes after what feels like ages. I look around expecting Andria to be by my side, but I find Mimi sleeping in one of the armchairs. The rest of the hospital is empty, and daylight escapes from behind the curtains into the room. My right leg is completely dead. I try not to move it as I push myself to sit up. My head hurts so much, and I look over at the table and see a packet of migraine tablets and a glass of water. I take one and rest my head back on the pillow. How do you feel? Will says, walking over to my bed. Tired. Sigh. I'll tell everyone that you're awake, he says, walking over to one of the security guards. The guard talks into his walkie-talkie. A minute later, Amira, Xuan, Alora, Alessandro, Lorenzo, Zoya, and Tezo walk through the doors. Amira comes and softly hugs me. Zoya sits on the end of my bed. Alessandro immediately sits on the armchair next to Mimi. Lorenzo stands next to me, and Tezo, Alora, and Xuan crowd around my bed. I'm so glad you're ok, Amira says in relief. If it wasn't for Lorenzo and Zoya, I would have died out there, I reply. How long are you going to be like this? Tezo asks. I can see that his usual goofy self is gone, replaced with concern. She'll have to stay in bed for a couple days, and then she'll be able to use a wheelchair. Will says. No school for you. Zoya says. Have any of you heard from Andria? I ask. Or about him? They all glance at each other, and something silent passes between them. Xuan crosses his arms and clenches his jaw. Still nothing, Alora says, avoiding eye contact. I swallow the hard lump in my throat. Will coughs, breaking the silence. We should let Dilia sleep, he says. I want to stay awake, I reply. Oh my god, Dilia, Mimi gasps. I realize she's woken up from her nap. She stands up and I see that she's starting to develop a baby bump. Can we take Dilia out of this room now? Tezo asks. Absolutely not. Will snaps. Please, she'll be super safe. Alora begs. Will rolls his eyes and walks away. We tried. Xuan shrugs. He comes back with a wheelchair. Alessandro, Lorenzo help her into this, he says. They pick me up from my sides, and I disconnect myself from the IV drip. Come back as soon as you feel tired, he says. I will, I reply. Lorenzo pushes my wheelchair. Where are we going? I ask. The cinema room, Alora exclaims. Is it okay if I freshen up first? I ask. Sure, she says. She takes the wheelchair from Lorenzo and leads me down a corridor. I forgot to ask, but what happened to the blondie? I ask. Zoya and Terzo anonymously dropped her off at the police station. She's been wanted for a while. Alora explains. She leads me to a door and presses a button. A white marble elevator opens up in front of me. I didn't know this existed, I gasp. So many of us have had to use wheelchairs. She laughs. She presses the second floor button and it takes us to the floor of my bedroom. She takes me to my room and leaves me, closing the door behind her. I wheel myself to the bathroom and open the bath, getting it ready for me to relax in. Chapter 51. I put on an oversized hoodie and reach for the shorts on top of my drawer. The water drips down my short hair and onto my neck. I put my left leg through and slowly put my right one in, trying not to stretch the stitches at the back of my knee. I take a deep breath before standing up on my left leg, ensuring not to put any pressure on my right one. Who knew putting on shorts could be a tiring sport? I finally get them up and slump back onto my wheelchair. I wheel myself to the door and open it up. Alora is standing outside her arms on the banister on the stairs. You wanted for me, I say. Of course, she replies. She comes behind me, pushes me back to the elevator, and we go to the cinema room. She wheels me through the room's doors, and everyone is already there waiting for us. Dan, what happened to your hair? Matteo exclaims. Nice to see you too, I reply. Alora helps me to one of the chairs in the front row. There's about 5 rows, and each chair has their own footrest and footholder, with a blanket and pillow. Where's Jasmine? I ask, as Alora helps me into my chair. Vittoria says she had to stay at training base, Matteo replies. I think she's being heavily questioned. I don't blame her, Alessandro says, shrugging. We did just meet the girl. Zoya nods in agreement. I got popcorn, Amira exclaims, coming in, wheeling a tray stacked with snacks and drinks. There's toffee, salt, and sugar popcorn, she adds. We also have Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, Fanta, and Dr. Pepper. I'd like a Coke, Alora says, sitting in the row behind me. Pepsi for Mimi and I, Alessandro says. Sprite, and I saved you a seat, Lorenzo smiles. Terzo and I want a Coke and Dr. Pepper, Zoya says. She gets up and helps Amira hand out the drinks to everyone. What would you like, Dilia? She asks. A Dr. Pepper and sweet popcorn, please, I reply. She hands it to me, and I get comfortable with my blanket and pillows. Everyone hurry up so we can put the movie on, Xuan says. Xuan says, what are we watching? I ask. Tomb Raider, Matteo replies. Finally, everyone settles down with their snacks and drinks and the lights turn off. The light of the screen illuminates the room and the movie starts playing. I look around at everyone. Mimi is resting on Alessandro and they're sharing a blanket. Amira and Lorenzo share their popcorn. Alora sits next to Xuan, keeping her distance, but he keeps on sneaking glances at her. Zoya's head is resting on Terzo's lap and he's massaging her scalp. I can't help my heart hurting a bit. I just know Andria would be here if he could. My eyes start stinging. I'm not here to cry. I'm here to enjoy myself and relax. I just can't help my mind drifting back to his last words to me, even if it means I have to rip the world apart, brick by brick. Brick by brick, I mutter under my breath. I stretch and look around the room. It's dark, the movie's off, and everyone's gone. I realize that I must have slept through the film. I look to my left and see Mimi asleep, and Alessandro is awake and cradling her. I didn't want to wake her up, he says sheepishly. What time is it? I ask, yawning. Probably 10 or 11 p.m, he shrugs. I should probably head back to the hospital before Will murders me, I say. I look at my wheelchair next to me. Let me help you, he says quickly. No, Mimi will wake up, I say. Don't worry about her, he replies. He holds her head and replaces his chest with a pillow. Mimi stirs in her sleep but doesn't wake up. Alessandro walks over to me and stables my wheelchair. He helps me onto it and wheels me out of the room. I promise I'll be fine, I say. Get back to Mimi, she's a really light sleeper. Let me check if anyone is still awake, he says. He runs down the corridor and disappears. Not long later, he comes back followed by Xuan. Get well soon, Dilia, Alessandro says before returning to the cinema room. Xuan comes behind me and starts wheeling me towards the hospital. It's silent for a couple of moments before he speaks. How are you holding up? He asks, clearing his throat. I'm fine, I reply. What about you? Never liked the asshole in the first place. Xuan replies. It won't affect me whether he's alive or not? Wow, so comforting, I snap. Whatever, this is depressing, he sighs. We turn a corner and he keeps on wheeling me. What were you doing up? I ask. Smoking, he replies. Alessandra interrupted me. You know it wouldn't kill you to do something selfless once in a while, I say. I'm not fond of helping rude people, he retorts. Especially idiotic, brunette girls who try to slice off my hand after I compliment them. I'm not an idiot, I snarl, and you only complimented me to get on Andria's nerves. You don't know that. We turn another corner and see a huge door at the end of the hallway. Whatever, I reply. What's up with you and Alora? Nothing, I don't want to talk about it. He snaps. I reply innocently. Doesn't seem like nothing. I said, I don't want to talk about it. He snaps. Okay, oh, got it. I laugh. We enter the hospital and 2 nurses rush to me. Xuan helps them get me into bed and put the IV drip back in me. We'll sign you in so Dr. Will knows you're here. One nurse says, thank you. I reply. Xuan turns to leave but stops abruptly. He turns to me. He's going to be okay, he says. What? Andria. He's going to be... Okay, he repeats. Xuan turns around, walks out of the room. The lights turn off, allowing my thoughts to consume me. Chapter 52. It's been 4 days since the incident. 4 days, and I've been doing the same routine every single day. Wake up, shower, check how my wound is healing, blood tests, and sleeping. Occasionally, Terzo or Alora and Mimi will come and visit me. Will said they're no longer allowed to take me out of the hospital wing. Today, I'm finally being discharged, but I have to come in for checkups every 3 days. I have the option to use a walking stick or to stick to the wheelchair. I feel like a wheelchair is the safest thing for now. Thank you so much, Will, I say. It's my job, he replies, shrugging. Remember, if you want to use a walking stick, you're more than welcome. Thank you, I reply. I wheel my way out of the hospital and decide to go to the kitchen. I pass the meeting room and the doors are closed. It's open just a bit, enough for me to peer in. Where do you think he is? Alessandra asks. Lying in a ditch somewhere. Xuan replies. Andria isn't dead, Zoya exclaims, slamming her hands on the table. We haven't heard from him in 4 days. Another voice snarls. Vittoria. I bite down on the inside of my cheek, my eyes heavily watering. He can't be dead. I won't believe it. I touch my cheeks and realize that the tears have escaped. Lorenzo says, we still need to look. There's no point, Vittoria replies. I hiccup and wipe my eyes. I don't care if I'm making noise. Alessandro comes over to the door and opens it wider, exposing me. Get rid of her, Vittoria snarls. She has the right to hear this. Alessandro wheels me into the room. I feel so useless, just sitting here crying. Can't we send more people to search? Zoya asks. There's been no sign of him now. It's not going to change, she says sternly. It'll be a waste of time. That's your son. I yell through tears. That's your fucking son and you couldn't give a shit about him. Calm down, Dilia, Lorenzo says. Xuan looks shocked at my sudden outburst and tries to stifle his laugh, earning a glare from Vittoria. Who do you think you are? Vittoria snarls. I know what the right thing to do it. You clearly don't. You're sitting here being stupid instead of searching for him. I snap. I know my place, but I think it's time you learnt yours. She replies tonelessly. I think she's right, Zoya says. We shouldn't stop trying. Nothing has been confirmed.